Kṛṣṇa जय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत्सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भाति नैष्ठिकी। So welcome to Sunday Bhagavatam class everyone. We're reading from Canto 1, Chapter 10, text number 2. Sutta Vacha Vamsa Kururvam Sadavagni Nirhitam Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Vamsam Kururvam Sadavagni Nirhitam
Yamsam Kururvam Shadavagni Nirhitam
Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari
Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari
Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro
Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro
Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Vamsam Kururvam Sadavagni Nirhitam
Vamsam Kururvam Shadavagni Nirhitam
Sarvoham Vitva Bhavabhavano Hari
Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari
Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro
Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro
Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Sutta Vacha
Sutta Uvacha
Vamsam Kururvam Sadavagni Nirhitam
Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Sutta Vacha
Sutta Vacha
Vamsam Kururvam Shadavagni Nirhitam
Vamsam Kururvam Sadavagni Nirhitam
Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari
Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari
Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro
Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro
Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Vamsam Kururvam Shadavagni Nirhitam
Vamsam Kururvam Shadavagni Nirhitam
Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari
Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari
Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro
Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro
Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha.
Yudhishthiraṃ Prītamana Babhuvaha. Sutta Vacha. Vamsam Kururvam Sadavagni Nirvitam Samrohayitva Bhavabhavano Hari Niveshayitva Nijaraja Ishvaro Yudhishthiraṃ Prītamana Babhuvaha. Word to word. Sutta Uvacha. Sutta Goswami replied. Vamsam, dynasty. Kuruhu, of King Kuru. Vamsa Davagni, a forest fire set by the bamboos. Nirhritam, exhausted. Samroyahitva, seedling of the dynasty. Bhava Bhavanaha, the maintainer of creation. Hari, the personality of Godhead Sri Kṛṣṇa. Niveshayatva, having established. Nijarajya, in his own kingdom. Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord. Yudhishthiraṃ, unto Maharaj Yudhishthir. Prītamanaha, pleased in his mind. Babhuvaha, became. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthir in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. Purport. This world is compared to a forest fire caused by the cohesion of bamboo bushes. Such a forest fire takes place automatically for bamboo cohesion, occurs without external cause. Similarly, in the material world, the wrath of those who want to lord it over the material nature interacts and the fire of war takes place, exhausting the unwanted population. Such fires or wars takes place and the Lord has nothing to do with them. But because He wants to maintain the creation, He desires the mass of people to follow the right path of self-realization, which enables the living beings to enter into the kingdom of God. The Lord wants the suffering human beings to come back home, back to Him, and cease to suffer the threefold material pangs. The whole plan of creation is made in that way, and one who does not come to his senses suffers in the material world by pangs inflicted by the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord therefore wants His bona fide representative to rule the world. Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa descended to establish this sort of regime and to kill the unwanted persons who have nothing to do with His plan. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of the Lord, so that undesirable persons could get out of the world and a peaceful kingdom under His devotee could be established. The Lord was therefore fully satisfied when King Yudhishthir was on the throne and the seedling of the dynasty of Kuru in the person of Maharaj Parikshit was saved. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjalashakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamstra Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Lalita Shri Krishna Lalitas Vishakal Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ekam karoti vachanam pangam langayate girim Yatrapatavaham Shukram. Thank you for coming. Seeking all the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, I hope that I can speak something in the glorification of Krishna and the devotees. So such a beautiful purport. When we look at the verse, we may wonder, what is Prabhupada going to speak? How is he going to amaze us this time? Because each time we read the verse and, Prabhupada is churning nectar out of these verses. When we read his purports, they are so elaborate. So this verse talks about the forest fire, which is compared to the war that takes place in the human society. And the comparison is that this forest fire is caused automatically. It says, Prabhupada says here that there is no cause, there is no external cause for this forest fire. The bamboos strike against each other. And so the bamboos strike against each other because of the influence of the air. Heat is generated and fire takes place. So nobody causes it. And similarly, in the human society, the comparison is given, the wrath of the people. The war that takes place, it's because of the mental wrath that people are suffering. And what is the cause of this wrath is our unfulfilled desires, because we want to lord it over the material nature. This verse, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that how systematically when we see an object and then we develop that attachment and we get that desire to get that object, and then when that is not fulfilled, that results in anger. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Krodhat bhavati sammoha smriti vibrama smriti ramsad buddhi nashat pranashati. That when from anger complete delusion arises, and from delusion bewilderment of memory. And when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when this intelligence is lost, we fall down again into the pool of this material world. In the morning, Mangala prayers, we sing this, Samsara Dava Nalalita Loka. Prabhupada, in this verse it says Davagni, Vamsa Davagni. So this material world is compared to the forest. It's burning like this forest fire because of the wrath of the people inside. They always want to lord it over the nature, but nobody has done it ever. We see so many examples in the past. Kings come and go, great leaders come and go, but nobody is able to, do it, because this place is not meant for, happiness. In that prayer, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Samsara Dava Nalalida Loka, that, and the spiritual master comes as this, and for us Prabhupada, spiritual master, they come as an ocean of mercy. They are pouring that cloud of mercy upon us to, satisfy our bereaving hearts. So all of us living entities, we want to dominate this material nature, which is impossible. What happens is each living entity has this desire to control control the material nature. The example here is given of Mahabharata war, that there is one throne, but so many competitors. Duryodhana wants to usurp the kingdom of Maharaj Yudhishthira. But Krishna wants, because this is Krishna's creation, and Krishna wants his man to rule over the world, because he knows that only his devotees can know his plan. Only Krishna's devotees can know the plan of Krishna. Prabhupada compares this, this material world to a prison house. That we are meant to be in the spiritual world, but because we had envy from Krishna, what happened is that Krishna created this material world for us. Okay, go here, rectify yourself, and then come back to me. But being eternal servant of Krishna, Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas, we are not trying to enjoy with Krishna, but we are trying to enjoy separately from Krishna. And prison house, in a prison house, nobody can be happy, right? I mean, you can never, Prabhupada gives this example that one can never be eternally happy in a prison house. We are spiritual by nature, and we are in the material. So there's this combination is not working somehow. And that's why we have, so many, and that's the reason of this war between the human beings, the wrath of all the living entities that's causing this fire. Bamboo also is known as, bamboo is also here, is known as dynasty. Prabhupada says that, how a man and a woman come, they beget children, and then that's how a dynasty is made. And then, there are quarrels because everybody wants, but there are limited material resources, and then what happens is there is clashes of desires, and that causes the wrath. And that's what happened in the war of Mahabharata. So, when we come in the material world, this is compared to a prison. And it is, like I said, it is impossible to live peacefully in this material world, but the jiva is still trying, trying very hard. Prahlad Maharaj says that, chewing the chewed, we have done this so many times, but we still want to extract the nectar from, this material world. Because of the allurement of Maya. Maya is alluring us. Amoghliya Prabhu says that for materialist devotee, Maya is not trying to entice you. Maya is not trying to, because they are already in the lap of Maya. It's the devotees who have taken the detour. And it's the devotees Maya tests the most. Because they are trying to get out of this material world. And, Maya tests them the most. In Prema Vivarta, there's this verse that, Krishna bhuliya jiva, hana bhoga vancha kare, nikatastha maya tare, jhapatiya dhare. That jhapatiya is such a graphic word, that the moment we are trying to enjoy separately from Krishna, Maya grabs us, Oh, here you are again. So we are part and parcel of Krishna. So just like this hand, if I tell my hand to capture this bottle and it does it, so that means my hand is in harmony with this body. So we are part and parcel of Krishna. But if the same hand, if I tell to grab the bottle, instead of grabbing the bottle, it starts playing some video games on the laptop, that means it's not in harmony with my body. That means I'm not mentally... I'm a mentally deranged person that, I'm asking something, but it's not happening. So similarly, Krishna has a plan for us. And he wants us to follow that plan. That, yes, you have come to this material world, rectify yourself, and then come to me. But then when we come here, we forget all about it. We have our own plans to enjoy. In the third canto, there are prayers that the unborn child prayers to Lord Krishna, and the soul is saying that, Krishna, I know I have messed this up this time, but please try to save me this time. I promise when I come out, I will chant your names. I will remember you. But what happens is, again, when we come into this pool, we forget. But then we are happy, we are fortunate enough that, we have come in the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, who has given us such a beautiful movement where each aspect of this movement, if we see, is filled with understanding Krishna's plan, and we are trying to execute Krishna's plan here, because we start with the morning prayers. We are glorifying Prabhupada, we are glorifying our spiritual master, and he is telling us, how this material world is a forest fire. So each aspect of this movement is sending us reminders that yes, we're cooking for Krishna. Whatever Prabhupada says, eat whatever you offer whatever you eat to Krishna. So each aspect of this movement is filled with, minute by minute, Prabhupada is trying to explain us Krishna's plan. In this verse it says, the last line, Yudhishthiram priti mana bhavu vahau. So how to execute Krishna's plan is by pleasing Krishna. It says priti mana, by pleasing Krishna. So we please our senses, and that's why the conflict arises, because we meant to please Krishna, and then that causes the wrath. That causes this extreme anger amongst us. So Prahlad Maharaj, gives a very beautiful prayer. He offers these beautiful prayers to Nrsimhadev, and it resonates with how to overcome this wrath. In the 5th canto, I think we covered these prayers before Nrsimha Appearance Day. And prayers, if you can repeat after me. Swasti astu vishvasya khala prasidhatam dhyayantu bhutani shivam mithodhiya manasya vadram bhajata dokshaje aveshatam no matirapi ahetuki. So when Lord Nrsimha appears to save Prahlad Maharaj, Nrsimhadev asks, ask me a benediction. And Prahlad Maharaj says that I have nothing to ask for myself. He says, he then chants these prayers, and he says, and what that means is, may there be good fortune throughout the universe. May all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing Bhakti Yoga. For by accepting devotional service, they'll think of each other's welfare. And therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in the thought of Him. Kunti Maharani also, in her prayers, she says, Bhave asmin klishyamananam avidya kama karmabhi Shravana Smarana Arhani Karishyan iti kechana. That she tells Krishna that you appear for the sake of rejuvenating this devotional service, of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so in order that the conditioned soul suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. Krishna never forgets us, and he keeps sending his representatives to remind us about this process of bhakti. Human life is meant for atato brahmya jigyasa, that we are trying to inquire about Krishna, about our relationship with Krishna, and and that's the reason why Maharaj Yudhishthira takes up the rule of this world, because Krishna is the original creator, and he wants his own man to rule the world. Like with every appliance we buy, there is a manual that comes with appliance. So I was thinking, this appliance can be compared to the material world, and the manual that comes with it is the representatives of Krishna, the shastras, the scriptures, that they keep guiding us on how to go about in this material world. And if we don't follow them, it's just we are in this, we are suffering from the wrath. So we are not fortunate enough to be under the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, or maybe, who knows, we were, and then we messed it up. But it said in the future verses that, how righteously he was ruling. Everybody was so happy and so joyous. And the cows, it is mentioned that, the cows were so joyous that their milk bags were full of milk, and they were moistening the grass with their milk. So that's such a sweet thing. So Mother Earth would have been so happy that, everybody is happy. So, not like now where, cows are slaughtered. But still, though we are not losing anything because we are under the reign of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said that his books are going to continue for next 10,000 years. So, and Prabhupada is Krishna's man.
Mess up this time.
Yeah, we don't have to mess up this time. Yes, my Guru Maharaj, in his last, when he said his last speech, he said that, Prabhupada said, give this life to Krishna. Just give it. Just don't think this time. And we will meet. Just keep doing what I've told you, and we will meet the next, like on the next side of the world. So yeah, Prabhupada is, and Krishna has sent us, Prabhupada to teach us how to execute this Krishna's plan. Prabhupada, of course, out of his humility, I was hearing his lecture on this verse. He was saying that he was giving his own example that how in just 4 or 5 years this movement is growing so fast. In 4 or 5 years, and people say, "Oh Swamiji, you have done this. Oh Swamiji, you have done this." I have done nothing. What I have done is I've just followed Krishna's plan, and even though I have done nothing, it's only Krishna doing through me, but he's giving me all the credit. That okay, you are like in case of Arjuna is like, I don't want to fight, but Krishna tells him that the war has already taken place. The people you are seeing here, they are going to get killed. So whether you participate or not, they are going to get killed anyways. So Krishna says that nimittama, just become my instrument in that. And then Prabhupada says that just by following my spiritual master instructions, I was able to establish this movement. Many times we have heard that if we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. And we see so many times, we also practically experience it, that if somebody gives us a task, and we sometimes wonder whether I'll be able to finish it. Like, no way, But then somehow or other it happens. I can take my example when it still happens each time somebody asks me to bake a cake, and I always panic. I go in the kitchen, I'm like, will I be able to, will I be able to finish it? But then the end result is always amazing. I mean, it's because of Krishna. I don't put, half of the efforts that are required, but it's Krishna's plan that, it's Krishna's mercy that, he empowers us, devotees empower us. And same is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well. Krishna says that I carry what you preserve. Sorry, what was that verse? Ananyas chintayanto ma ye jana paripashate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogoshema vahamyaham. That those who worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. And so this is clearly the encouragement, Srila Prabhupada is giving us, that if we simply stick to Krishna's plan, we just have to follow it 100% without any deviation, and then we can become a pure devotee. So when I was hearing this lecture from Srila Prabhupada, he gave 2 instructions in this lecture. One was, chanting attentively, and then offering what you eat. And Prabhupada, gave this instruction many times that, hear yourself, chant properly, don't get your mind in between, just focus, what you are speaking. So, but in this lecture, Prabhupada goes one step ahead. I'll just say what he says, just repeat what he says. He says, simply, if you are engaged in Krishna's business, Priti Purvakam, with love, not as hackneyed, here is a duty, chanting of Hare Krishna, all right, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare. Not like that, with Priti, with love, chant every name. Hare Kṛṣṇa, and here is Krishna, here is Radharani. That kind of chanting, quality. Not Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Not like that. Preeti, love. So, intention and absorption is so important, when we are chanting. And then, for me, I think what works is reading between I think I've been as guided by senior Vaishnavas, reading, or just when you start chanting, try to read something significance about holy name, why it is important to, what it does to us. And when we hear, and of course during the day also, planning our day in such a way that devotional service, our chanting becomes our priority. The first few hours, it is said that are the best hours of the whole day. So, giving our time, our best time to Krishna. And there is a bhajan there on, Keval Ashtakam, on holy name, Nilakanta Goswami, written by Nilakanta Goswami. It goes like, Madhuram madhurebhyo api pavanam pavanebhyo api mangalam mangalebhyo api Hare nameva kevalam. That more sweet than all other sweet things, more auspicious than all other auspicious things, the greatest purifier of all purifying things, the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. And Nilakanta Goswami writes further in this bhajan, and it's such a beautiful bhajan. I'll just quote the two verses from that bhajan. It says, which means, Aho, what a sorrow, what a great sorrow, more painful than any other misery in the world, mistaking it as a mere piece of glass. The people have forgotten this jewel. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. It should be heard again and again with one's ears. It should be uttered over and over with one's voice. It should be perpetually sung and sung anew. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. So, if there is no feeling, then there is no absorption. Mind acts on, 3 levels. We saw in the prayers of Bhishma Dev, that thinking, feeling and willing. So, mind does function at when there is feeling, then mind cooperates with us for a longer time. So, when we chant with feeling, we can chant for longer, and that chanting is inspiring. We want to do that chanting. And it's not like, it's hackneyed, like how Prabhupada says, it's not like that. Because our propensity is, it's to love. And if we don't love Krishna, what happens is we put that propensity to someone else. George Harrison, in the book, in the introduction of Krishna book, he writes that everybody is looking for Krishna. Some know, some don't. And we are fortunate enough that we know that we are looking for Krishna. So let's make a conscious effort, when we are doing this sadhana bhakti, which is not hackneyed, but it's out of love. And second thing that Prabhupada says is offering food to Krishna. Prabhupada says in this regard, he quotes this verse from Bhagavad Gita 9:26, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayachati Tad Aham Bhakti Upaharitam Ashnami Tad Prayatatmana. And Prabhupada says, real thing is bhakti. Krishna is not hungry that you will give him some good food and he will eat it. Never mind in which way you can give. Oh, here is puri, halwa. Krishna must eat. Krishna is not hungry for your puri, halwa. But if there is bhakti, if there is love, then he eats. Tad aham ashnami. Then I eat. If there is bhakti, love. Krishna, what can I do for you? I am so teeny. You are so great. Still, I have tried to do something if you kindly eat. Such a beautiful explanation that Prabhupada gives, when we chant these offering mantras, Namo Mahavandanyaya, Namo Brahmaya Devaya. Prabhupada is saying that what it means, what it actually means, that Krishna, what can I do for you? I am so teeny, and you are so great, but still I have tried, so please, just eat. Please kindly eat. Prabhupada further says, this is mantra. Real mantra is that not so many formalities of mantra. Krishna does not say, one who offers me with the Vedic mantras. Never. Krishna says, bhaktya, with devotion. So, the mood, the intention is the most important ingredient of any aspect of devotional service, any act that we do. The intention is the most important. And Krishna knows that only his devotees can serve him with love. So that's why, Krishna wants, and at the end it says that Krishna becomes pleased when Maharaj Yudhishthira was on the throne, and the seedling of the dynasty of Kuru in the person of Maharaj Parikshit was saved. And that's why Krishna wants Maharaj Yudhishthira to be on the throne. So we move on to the next verse, text number 3. Nishamya bhot bhishmo tamathacyutoktam pravritta vijnana vidhuta vibrama sasashagam indra ivajitashayah paridhyopantam anujanuvartite. Anyone wants to recite? Nishamya bhishmo tamathacyutoktam pravritta vijnana vidhuta vibrama sasasagam indra ivajitashaya paridhyupantam anujanuvartita. Nishamya, after listening. Bhishma Uktam, what was spoken by Bhishma Dev. Ataha, as also. Achyuta Uktam, what was spoken by the infallible Lord Krishna. Pravritta, being engaged in. Vijnana, perfect knowledge. Vidhuta, completely washed. Vibrama, all misgivings. Sasasa, ruled over. Gam, the earth. Indra, the king of the heavenly planet. Iva, like. Ajita Ashrayaha, protected by the invincible Lord. Paridhi Upantam, including the seas. Anuja, the younger brothers. Anuvartite, being followed by them. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaj Yudhishthira, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Dev and Lord Sri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge, because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. Purport. The modern English law of primogeniture, or the law of inheritance by the firstborn, was also prevalent in those days when Maharaj Yudhishthira ruled the earth and seas. In those days, the king of Hastinapur, now part of New Delhi, was the emperor of the world, including the seas, up to the time of Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir's younger brothers were acting as his ministers and commanders of state, and there was full cooperation between the perfectly religious brothers of the king. Maharaj Yudhishthir was the ideal king or representative of Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa to rule over the kingdom of earth, and was comparable to King Indra, the representative ruler of the heavenly planets. The demigods like Indra, Chandra, Surya, Varuna and Vayu are representative kings of different planets of the universe. And similarly, Maharaj Yudhishthir was also one of them, ruling over the kingdom of the earth. Maharaj Yudhishthir was not a typically unenlightened political leader of modern democracy. Maharaj Yudhishthir was instructed by Bhishma Dev and the infallible Lord also, and therefore he had full knowledge of everything in perfection. The modern elected executive head of a state is just like a puppet because he has no kingly power. Even if he is enlightened like Maharaj Parikshit, Maharaj Yudhishthir, he cannot do anything out of his own goodwill due to his constitutional position. Therefore, there are so many states over the earth quarreling because of ideological differences or other selfish motives. But a king like Maharaj Yudhishthir had no ideology of his own. He had but to follow the instructions of the infallible Lord and the Lord's representative and the authorized agent, Bhishma Dev. It is instructed in the Shastras that one should follow the great authority and the infallible Lord without any personal motive and manufactured ideology. Therefore, it was possible for Maharaj Yudhishthir to rule the whole world, including the seas, because the principles were infallible and universally applicable to everyone. The conception of one world state can only be fulfilled if we can follow the infallible authority. An imperfect human being cannot create an ideology acceptable to everyone. Only the perfect and the infallible can create a program which is applicable at every place and be followed by all in the world. It is the person who rules and not the impersonal government. If the person is perfect, the government is perfect. If the person is a fool, the government is a fool's paradise. That is the law of nature. There are so many stories of imperfect kings or executive heads. Therefore, the executive head must be a trained person like Maharaj Yudhishthir, and he must have the full autocratic power to rule over the world. The conception of a world state can take shape only under the regime of a perfect king like Maharaj Yudhishthir. The world was happy in those days because there were kings like Maharaj Yudhishthir to rule over the world. So here Prabhupada is giving many qualities of ideal king and autocrat to how to rule the world. Basically, he's saying that he has to be a perfect person and follow the principles laid down by Kṛṣṇa. So, and Maharaj Yudhishthir is one such leader. So, Prabhupada, because he's giving so many qualities, I thought we will try to break these qualities and discuss about that. Because in the purport, it's described the qualities of an ideal king, which is far removed from the modern present day. In present day, we have democracy, which does not work, because people, the leaders are not caring about. They don't care about. They're only in it for themselves. They don't care about what the citizens are going through. One such example comes of Winston Churchill. He was Prime Minister of UK, and he saved Britain from being conquered by Germany. I was hearing a lecture by Srila Prabhupada's disciple, and he was saying that Winston Churchill was actually, Prabhupada really disliked him because millions of Bengalis, they were starved to death because of his philosophy. What had happened was during the Second World War, there was a famine in Bengal, and Bengalis were dying though the British government had the grains, but because they did not like Indians and they were saving it for some other future calamity, so they did not give it to the local Bengalis there, and so many Bengalis, they died. So clearly, this is not a favorable policy that applies to everybody, because it's not applicable it's only applicable for my kind of people. But we see, in Vedic history, there is an example of King Shibi. So King Shibi was, he was a very just king. He was a very righteous king. So what had happened was that once it said that there was a fight between a dove and an eagle, and so dove is coming to, or some say there was a fight between pigeon and a hawk, but let's go with dove and eagle. So the king was on his terrace, and dove comes to him and pleads that I seek protection of you, my dear king, because there is this eagle behind me, and it's trying to eat me. And as a king, because it's his duty to protect everybody, not distinguish between birds, animals, and human beings. So he said that, oh yes, I'll protect you. And then that very moment, the eagle comes and tells the king that you are denying me of my prey. I'm hungry and I want to eat. So then king, out of his magnanimous nature, he says that, okay, I'll cut flesh of my body, and I'll give you that equal. So what they did is they brought a scale, and on one side of the scale they placed that dove, and he said that I'll cut that part of my body and place it on the other half, so that it's equal. So whatever weight comes of the dove, that much flesh I'll give you to eat. So he started cutting his flesh from the body, and no matter how much he was cutting the flesh from his body, it was not coming out to be equal to the weight of the dove. So but then that did not discourage the king. He kept going, and in fact it said that was half of his left body was was on that scale. And then the dove and the eagle, they disappeared, and in their place they came Dharamraj and Yamraj and King Indra. So they were testing the authenticity of king, and how his policy is equal to everybody, and he actually passed the test. So further in the Prabhupada says that that even if modern day leaders, they are like puppet, because they have no kingly power, and even if they are enlightened like Maharaj Yudhishthira, they are certainly not at the level of even if they are enlightened like Maharaj Yudhishthira, because they cannot do anything, because of their constitutional position. Like we see example of Gandhi and Kennedy. Gandhi tried to save India from independence. He was an instrument in providing independence to India, but then it did not go, because they were not God conscious. So it did not go very long. Their policy did not go very long. And then Prabhupada further says that the king, ideal king, they have no ideology of his own, because they are following the principles laid by Kṛṣṇa. They're following the Shastras. In previous days, we used to see that the kings, they were guided by the Brahmanas. There was such example of King Vena. King Vena was a very cruel king. And what had happened then, when he came to the power, what he did was he stopped the worship of Kṛṣṇa. He stopped all the sacrifices. And then what happened was the Brahmanas had to take action, and by mantras they killed King Vena, because he was not. So instead of following the Brahmanas, he was following his own ideology. He was saying that worship me instead, and that's why he was killed. So we see that this, and we see this often in this ideology as well. These modern days. During Prabhupada's time, hippie ideology was very popular. That, though there were good things about hippie culture as well, they wanted peace, they wanted love, they were rebelling against the war. But the way they went about it, how to attain that peace, they completely led to a opposite result, because they were going about it extreme sense gratification. And, instead of uplifting them, it was cause of their degradation. And that's why, Prabhupada movement was so popular at that time, still is. But, a lot of hippies took his shelter, because they were going through that wrath of, material sense gratification. Next, Prabhupada makes the point of that the principles were infallible, because at the time of Maharaj Yudhishthira, their principles were universally applicable to everyone, and they were infallible. But not now, in case of one such example is Hitler. When he came to power, it was said that, there was a documentary on him which said that when he came to power, the people who were friends overnight became enemies, because now their friends did not belong to that race, that ethnicity. And his philosophy was to diminish the people, the certain class of people from the face of earth. So clearly it was not, applicable for everybody. Also, I work with ATO, so I was talking to this person the other day, and she was telling that how she can't pay the debt because she has a company, she also has a personal debt, she can't pay the debt. And of course, as employees, we are trained to ask questions. Why? You can't believe them. You have to give valid reasons. What unforeseen circumstances they are going through. And then she told such a shocking story that in 2 months she lost her mother, which was out of old age, and then she lost her 16-year-old daughter. And she told that one day her daughter decided to go to Centrelink and ask for youth allowance. That and on the basis she just narrated the story that she said to Centrelink that my parents, they forced me to go to school. They're not. They forced me to do chores. And they forced me to do homework. I don't want to study. And Centrelink agreed to give her youth allowance somehow. But that very day she moved out of the house because Centrelink was supporting her. And because Centrelink was giving, so it was not much money, so she could not afford a good suburb. So she went to not a very good suburb. And within few days she got into bad association, because the suburb was not very good. She got into the association of drug dealers and drugs. And she told me that within few days her body was found in a bag in the boot of a car. And it's so shocking, that so imagine this is the policy that government has. A 16-year-old can take a decision of their lives. What a policy is that? It's not working. It's definitely not working for everybody. And of course we can't blame the government entirely on this. Of course, parents are also responsible to some extent. But this is the sad plight of today's leaders, their philosophy. That just if you don't get instant sense gratification, okay, fine, just take this money and go, But as opposed to Maharaj Yudhishthira's reign, the citizens were so happy. Like how I said that the cows were so happy. They were giving milk and they were grazing the grass with their milk. So clearly Maharaj Yudhishthira was a very humble sage. Kṛṣṇa says in Bhagavad Gita that Pandita Sama Darshana. He was not differentiating between cows, animals, human beings. In 5.18, Kṛṣṇa says, the humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater. So in the purport, Prabhupada says that it is the person who rules and not the impersonal government. If the person is perfect, the government is perfect. And if the person is a fool, the government is a fool's paradise, which means it has nothing to do with the system of government or any isms, but rather it is person. But nothing to do with democracy or not democracy. It's not about the perfect person, it's all about the perfect person, because how did democracy came into being? Because they were evil autocrats. They were not trained in how to lead the people. And that's how, but clearly that is also not working. We see so many cases, there's so much distress amongst the citizens. Prabhupada gave a talk in Montreal in 1968, and he said that in the modern society, we are not concerned with government. We say there is no Kshatriya, there is no government. At the present moment, anyone who has artificial power, that is government. That's all. You somehow or other get little votes and you become government. Because there's no Kshatriya, where is the government? Government means they should always be thinking of how the citizens can always be happy and peaceful and spiritually advanced. That is government. And who is caring for the citizen? They are simply exacting tax. That's all. So, we are not, what can we do? We are under, we can't join a political party. I mean, if someone is, encouraged, if someone is very motivated, self-motivated, they can, but what do we do as citizens or as human beings? So Prabhupada gives, in fourth canto, Prabhupada gives that when King Vena was killed by the Brahmanas, what had happened was there was so much distress in the citizens, and there were thieves and rogues that were, they became very active, and they were plundering the wealth of the kingdom. They were troubling the citizens, and then the sages became very compassionate. Though Prabhupada writes in that purport that we have no business in political affairs, but Vaishnavas are always compassionate. And then Prabhupada says that was the concern of these sages. So in this age of Kali, everything is disturbed. Therefore, saintly persons should take to the chanting of the Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra. That is recommended in the Shastras. Hare Nam, eva kevalam, kalau nasteva gatir anyatha. Prabhupada further says, both for spiritual and material prosperity, everyone should devotedly chant the Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra. So we see, that Prabhupada is our saving grace. We can't do much, but yes, as Prabhupada says that just keep chanting, offering what you eat, and though Prabhupada did not join any political party, but we still see that the way he has transformed millions of lives, and he still and continue to do so. It's not that it's 47 years that Prabhupada has passed, but we see that the way Prabhupada is bringing about a change in the mind, in the society, because this Krishna conscious movement is meant to train our mind. If our mind is trained, then this wrath of material anxiety, it reduces, and then there is no distress, and there's no disturbance in the society. So we will conclude here. If anyone has any questions or comments or corrections.
Thank you so much for a very nice class, Mataji. This verse is so nice. We just even look at the word to word. In the first line it says, Bhishmoktam, Achyutoktam, that both, Krishna, the infallible Lord, and Bhishma Deva spoke and guided Maharaj Yudhishthira. And Krishna, although these words are infallible, but Krishna made Bhishma Deva an instrument that Yudhishthir Maharaj becomes more convinced by hearing a devotee. And so, I was thinking we are so fortunate that Krishna could have spread this message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhāgavatam himself. But, he's given us Srila Prabhupada to make us convinced, and Srila Prabhupada's words are so potent that we become convinced.
Yes. That's true. Prabhupada is a saving grace. Yes.
You said that we have to act according to the plan of Krishna, but how will we know what is his plan? It's like confusing sometimes.
Yeah. In text 2, Mataji, Prabhupada purpose, he writes that the whole plan, the Lord wants, he desires the mass of people to follow. So that's his plan. So, the plan is to go back to Godhead. That's the plan. That's the plan. Krishna is saying that, Prabhupada is saying that what Lord wants is the suffering human beings to come back home, back to Him, and cease to suffer the threefold material pangs. The whole plan of creation is made in that way, and one who does not come to his senses suffers in the material world. And yes, my Guru Maharaj used to say that, during his last days, he gave a lecture in New York, and he said that, we might wonder what is Krishna's plan. But Krishna's plan is clear. He wants the suffering souls to come back to Him. And then you ask me, should I get married or should I not get married? And then he says, whether you get married or you stay brahmachari, it doesn't matter. Whether you take up this job or you take up that job, Krishna's plan is that you come back to Him and you bring as many people as you can along to Him. And that will please Him. That's Krishna's plan. I mean, the overall plan, of course, that's the plan. But of course, the nitty-gritties sometimes is that, like how, it could vary, but the master plan is that. Anyone would like to add anything?
Yeah, also, like Krishna says, that one who worships Him with love and devotion, bhajatam priti purvakam, then dadami buddhi yogam, then Krishna Himself provides the intelligence through which the sincere souls can actually go to Krishna. And so in that way, the sincere devotee comes to know the plan of Krishna because he is connected with the Lord.
This verse, Mataji, also makes me think like a family is also a government, and parents are leading their kids to, because I've seen so many moms, they just put the Facebook or YouTube videos in front of their child just to feed them, throughout when they're feeding, the kid is watching videos and all. So that's also a government. We can, if the parents are Krishna conscious, the kids will be following.
There's a verse that one should not be a father, a mother, a guru, a spiritual master, unless they can deliver their dependents from the cycle of birth and death. So, as individuals, we can't form a government, but we can make these little changes in our lives, training our kids, training our close circle, or, influencing them in whatever little way we can. Thank you for sharing that.
I just want to say, today's feast is like a small, humble feast. In the morning, I prepared with the mood to pay my all respect to Rupa Goswami because it was a disappearance day yesterday. So, just with that mood, I just want to remind everyone to bless us and for all the Shad Goswamis to bless all of us so we can have that mood whichever Guru Parampara has.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. Yes. Goswamis, there's this, reminds me of Sad Goswami Ashtakam. It says, Nirmatsara, that they are non-envious, and they are Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Prema Mritambo Nidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priya Priya Karo Nirmatsaro Chito. They are, they are equal to everybody, gentle ruffians, They are non-envious of everybody. Yes, so thank you for reminding Mataji.
And if they were not here, we wouldn't be here actually, because then Vrindavan would be all empty.
Mm.
There would be still trees and creepers there.
Yeah.
If Mahaprabhu had not sent the Shad Goswamis, and of the Shad Goswamis, Rupa Goswami is the most highest, because they all considered, although he considers Sanatana Goswami as his guru, but all the other Goswamis consider him. And that is why Prabhupada chose to stay just close to his samadhi. Whenever I go to the Radha Damodar temple, I see that window, and I always think, oh, then when he was cooking there, he would be direct connection
Yeah.
to his Rupa Goswami.
Yeah,
So
he's-
such a sweet and
Yeah.
relationship.
Thank you much for sharing. Okay, so we'll stop here. Prantara Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you everyone for coming to the morning class. So just this morning, we were inspired to bring our home owners, Neil Madhavji, for their pleasure that we can have a small festival. It'd be nice if we can sing, and for the pleasure of their lordships.
We can sing a Dhuran song.
You can sing, Mataji?
Yeah.
You can play harmonium?